What up YouTube? How are we feeling today? Hope you're doing great, hope you're doing fantastic. Back with another Division 2 video and today another build video. And yes, the Heartbreaker Gear Set still shreds, guys. I'm gonna give you the hardest hitting Heartbreaker build out there. This hits up to 3, 4, even 5 million crits. Yes, even after the nerf, because yesterday they nerfed the Heartbreaker. It went from multiplicative to additive damage, so you will see a big drop in damage buffs. But is it though? Because yesterday and today I tested out this build. This is, in my opinion, the hardest hitting Heartbreaker build out there, using of course the best AR in the game to combine with the Heartbreaker Gear Set. But as you can see in the gameplay in the background, I'm still hitting for 2.5 to 3 million crits. And even if you are boosted up very high through your teammates and of course everything happening in countdown, you can still hit up to that 4 million crits, guys. Yes, no lie, as you can see in the background, 4 million crits, and this still shreds. Yes, the Heartbreaker Gear Set got nerfed, and yes, it's still one of the best builds to run around with, especially in countdown. But enough intro, let's dive into the gameplay, and then of course after that we're gonna dive into the build. Enjoy!
Transfer halted. Incoming. High risk hostile. Area secure. Immediate medical assistance needed. Evacuate the facility. 5 minutes to lockdown.
And starting with our specialization, of course we're using the Technician. Why the Technician? Because we have the linked laser pointer. This of course helps us in pulsing enemies. You only have to aim at the enemies to get them to pulse. Next to that, we will of course get an extra skill tier that helps you out with your skills. Then we're hitting an extra 12% damage to drones, skill proxies and robotics. And then an armor kit also applies to all the friendly skill proxies within 10 meters. So this is why we are using, of course, the Technician specialization. And then over to my skills, I'm using the Revive Hive because of course mostly you're using this in countdown. You can still stand next to a door that opens up and you will get exploded or whatever. You just get rushed by a whole group of enemies and you can get taken down, or of course fighting the hunters. It's a very nice thing to have the Revive Hive next to you. I have it with 9.3% Revive Hive armor repair. Then we have 5% range and a 10% duration mod on there from the, of course, the Technician specialization. Next to that, I like to use my pulse. So you can use whatever you like. You can of course use the cam launcher and then go for the riot foam, for example. It helps out a lot as well. But I still like to run with the pulse. On this build I'm running around with the pulse because I like to know where everybody is. If I'm running in, I'm pulsing. and I know where to attack. That's why I'm running the pulse, but again, you can run whatever you think is necessary. It might be even better to run with the riot foam, but on this build, I like to run around with the pulse. I have it on expertise level 2, so I'm getting an extra 2% duration on there. I have a 10% duration mod on there and a 10% effect duration on there. And starting with my primary weapon, of course, we're using the Kingbreaker. Why the Kingbreaker? Because it comes with perfect flatline. We all know perfect flatline. This amplifies the weapon damage by 20% to pulsed enemies, and after 2 kills applies a pulse to the next enemy you hit. I went for double critical hit chance, so I'm getting an extra 10% critical hit chance on my gun. Of course, went for the 20 extra rounds, and then with the laser pointer. It's all maxed out, 15% assault rifle, 21% health, and of course the best attribute on the guns, 10% damage to target out of cover, and it almost hits for 150k in total damage. And then of course next to that we have that 10% extra weapon damage, because this gun is expertise level 10, and that's why it's almost hitting for 150k. For my secondary, of course, we're going for the ACS 12 or the rock and roll, whatever you prefer, but I would recommend going with this gun. This is just straight up the easiest way to stack your Heartbreaker stacks. Get up to those stacks that you want, that 50 or 100, and give you that extra damage output. This is just straight up the quickest and easiest way to stack up to that max cap of Heartbreaker stacks. Then over to my handgun. I'm using the Liberty right now because I have it on proficiency rank 8. I want to get it on proficiency rank 10, of course, but you can use whatever you like. As you can see, I have a lot of handguns here, so I just switch around with handguns. Whenever I have one proficient, I switch over to the next one, and that's why I'm rocking the Liberty. So you can choose whatever you want for your sidearm. And then over to the build, of course, the 4 pieces of Heartbreaker, and this is a full red Heartbreaker. That's why you can hit up to that 4 million crits, maybe even higher, but that's a little bit of question if there is a damage bug in the game. Of course, if I start my game, I switch all my weapons, so I make sure that I'm not using the damage buff. If it's still in the game, I'm not sure. I think it is, but there is a crazy damage output. Of course, we're getting that 15% assault rifle, 15% LMG, 15% weapon handling, but we're doing it for the heart stopper. That gives us an extra stack of 1% bonus armor and 1% damage to pulsed enemies, up to that stack of 50. 2 stacks are lost each second. And I found it with critical hit chance, so I could roll the armor core wave for some weapon damage and went for a critical hit damage mod. I did exactly the same for my holster. Rolled the weapon damage over there because I found it with critical hit chance. And exactly the same for my gloves. I found it with critical hit chance. I optimized it a little bit, but that gave me the opportunity to roll it to the weapon damage of 15%. And then the last piece is, of course, our chest. And why are we using our chest? Because it comes with a max BPM. Increases the max stacks from the Heartstopper from 50 to 100. So now we will do 100% extra damage to pulsed enemies, and we will get 100% extra bonus armor. Again, I found it with a critical hit chance, got a critical hit damage mod on there, and 15% weapon damage rolled over the armor core. So let's jump over to the rest of my build. Of course, in my opinion, still the best in slot, and especially if you're combining it with the Heartbreaker, go for the Foxer Sprayers. Why? We all know the Foxer Sprayers, it gives us an extra 8% damage to target out of cover. So with our gun, with a 10% damage to target out of cover, we will get 18% damage out of cover, and this is multiplicative damage, guys. This is why this build just shreds through everything, and it is a lot of fun to play with, especially within the countdown. Rolled the critical hit damage there for the attribute, and then of course went for the 15% weapon damage. So let's jump over to the backpack, and this helps us crit a lot higher. And this is of course the GOOO backpack. Why? Because it gives us 15% critical hit damage. I found it with critical hit damage and critical hit chance on there. I optimized it a little bit, went for a critical hit damage mod, and of course maxed out the weapon damage as well, and went for the talent Vigilance. Why Vigilance? Because this increases our total weapon damage by 25%, but if you get hit, the buff will disable for 4 seconds. But we all know, and we talked about it like a few weeks ago, that this will still be active with bonus armor. So if your bonus armor gets hit, your Vigilance will still be procced, and this is why you just need to go for Vigilance, especially on the Heartbreaker Gear Set, because there is a big chance that you always are running around with that extra bonus armor, and especially with that chest, we are getting a 100% bonus armor, and this helps out a lot for survivability and of course our damage output with Vigilance. So why the GOOO backpack and not going for Fenris? Because Fenris gives us that extra 10% assault rifle damage, right? The GOOO backpack hits harder. Your crit numbers will be higher with a GOOO backpack. So let me show you on the shooting range real quick. So there we are, guys, at the shooting range. I have it on 5 meters. I have it on Invulnerable Elite. So let's stack it up real quick. Let's get those Heartbreaker stacks up. As you can see, I am at full stacks, switching over to my gun. And we're doing around that 1.4 million on the body, as you can see. So let's have it on the hat real quick. So we're hitting around that 1.9 million on the hat. You see that? 1.893. So we're hitting 1.893. So let's have it on that 1.9. So if we switch over, so we're gonna get that GOOO backpack away for a backpack from Fenris. Let me search it real quick. There it is. As you can see, 15% weapon damage, 6% critical hit chance, 12% critical hit damage, and Vigilance on there. So let's equip this real quick. Let's get a critical hit damage mod on there. Let's see if we can get the right one. This one. So as you can see, the build is exactly the same. We only changed the backpack to Fenris. So let's see if the damage numbers are higher with Fenris or with GOOO. So we're stacking up the Heartbreaker set again. Shooting it. Come on, give me that last stacks. Okay, as you can see, we're switching over. We're shooting, and we're hitting that 1.367. While we're hitting 1.4 the last time we shoot on the body with, of course, the GOOO. So we're going to the hat. That was close to the 1.9 million. Shooting on the hat gives us a 1.867. While the other one was a 1.89 something. Close to that 1.9. So as you can see, go for a GOOO backpack and not go for the Fenris backpack. The GOOO will give you more crit damage numbers, as you can see on this test that we just did on the firing range. So yeah, guys, this is just the setup of the build. Like I said, I'm running the Kingbreaker, running it with the Technician, running it with the ACS-12. The handgun doesn't really matter, whatever you like to get proficient. Then of course go for a 4-piece Heartbreaker. I went for the gloves instead of the knee pads because the damage to target out of cover, in my opinion, gives me more damage output. And then of course the GOOO backpack, because this gives us more crit damage numbers or higher crit damage numbers than the Fenris does. So let's jump over to the stats of the build. I have 50% critical hit chance. Always try to build towards that 50% critical hit chance. Maybe even higher, but I always aim towards that 50% critical hit chance. And then work on your critical hit damage. Of course, there are a lot of teammates, especially in Countdown, that can boost your critical hit chance while wearing the Coyote mask or running around with the Grudge, for example. But this is just straight up your own build. So keep it on that 50% critical hit chance. But if you know that you are running around with people that have the Coyote mask on, for example, you could always change one of the pieces to critical hit damage. So of course you can lose at 6% critical hit chance. That will put you back to 44% critical hit chance, but ups your critical hit damage to 132. But only do this when you are sure that all the rest of your teammates or your group members are running Coyote Mask, that you will get boosted through your crit chance. But still, I'd prefer always to build towards that 50% critical hit chance first. Next to that, of course, we have that 120% critical hit damage and 75% headshot damage. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I don't have any blues on here. I don't have protection from elites, nothing. This is just a straight up damage build and hands down the best Heartbreaker gear set out there. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this gear set and what you think about the nerfs. Yes, it's a big bummer that they nerfed it. Why would they nerf it? Everybody has so much fun with the Heartbreaker gear set. But as you can see on the gameplay that I recorded today and yesterday, when the nerf was already active, you can still shred through everything and get those high crit numbers up there. But again, let me know in the comments down below what you think about this build. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribers button. And of course the notification bell. PurePrime out.